is Joe Betar.
This is Ramon Robles.
And we talk to fascinating people about their love of hunting, shooting sports, and the outdoors. This is Hunting Matters. Bourbon. I like it.
You have my attention.
Yep. Rick Franco with Four Branches Bourbon, who I've actually hunted with, spent time at hunting camp with, and great guy, great story, great background, and that's just his story. But I'm excited to hear a little bit more about his story as well as the Four Branches Bourbon story. And I appreciated you giving me so much grief today.
You wouldn't happen to have like 6 cases at home that you didn't...
I've got 6 cases in my office,
okay.
and I didn't bring you a bottle.
Right. No, I figured.
I'm sorry, man. Next week, I promise. Folks, join us on Hunting Matters today with our guest, Rick Franco, one of the Four Branches Bourbon's co-founders. We're excited to have him on the show today. So, Rick Franco, the co-founder of Four Branches Bourbon, and there are several founders, which we're going to hear about here in a little bit. I had the pleasure of meeting almost all of them. There was one short when you guys came to Houston last time to visit.
Yep, our Army guy was short.
Yep, but Four Branches Bourbon is I'm excited to talk about them. To tell our listening audience about them. And Rick, tell us a little bit about your background. Now, you grew up in Louisiana, which we have that in common, and we survived it.
Yeah, so, I can't claim growing up in Louisiana my entire life, but my formative years were there. First 12 years were overseas, 3 countries before the age of 12. And as far as living in, traveled to a dozen more before that time, and then moved back to my mother's hometown, Houma, Louisiana, when I was 12 and finished out school, and then left at 18. And actually, Joe, I went back for the first time in 11 years last weekend. I hadn't been back since my father passed away. Just life in the military took me elsewhere. But it was so good to be back. I kind of slipped back into the old ways of running the bayous and fishing out in the Gulf and taking the kids and exposing them to all that.
Yeah. Shocking, though. It's changed. A lot's changed in 10 years.
It has.
Even in Houma, in South Louisiana.
Even in Houma, it's changed.
I mean, I went through South Louisiana on I-10 through Baton Rouge on my way over to Alabama a couple weeks back. And I was shocked. I was shocked at the number of businesses and things that have sprung up along I-10 between Lafayette and Baton Rouge and on the other side near Scott, too. Of course, every 5 miles is a boudin stand now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's, which, I don't mind. I'm an equal opportunity eater. I'll stop at any of them, but I have some favorites. But, I was shocked at how much it's changed. Did you grow up in a military family?
No, I grew up in an oil family.
Okay.
So my dad was in an oil company based out of Houston, and we traveled. It's just like being in the military. Every 2 years, you're going to a new country, a new place, setting up a new shop, so to speak, for the oil company and getting it up and running.
And then, as you became a young man, you decided to go to the military. You were in the Marines.
I did. Out of high school, I went to Virginia Military Institute. As my grandmother said, I was a glutton for punishment because it wasn't quite hard enough. So I decided while I'm in school, I'm going to enlist in the Marines. And I became an enlisted Marine. And then my dad kind of talked some sense into me. He said, I'm, helping you pay for an education. So you're going to go ahead and get your degree and you're going to become an officer. So then I think I might be one of the only Marines I know of to have their drill instructor twice.
Mm-hmm.
He put me through hell in boot camp, and then 2 years later, I show up at officer candidate school, and he changed his glasses. He had a mustache. I was like, surely that can't be him. It's not him. And I'm running out the door from day one. They kind of mob you all together in this big gymnasium, right? All these college kids. I'd already been a Marine for a couple of years.
Yeah,
kind of knew the drill, knew what was going to come. Start yelling at you, get out the door. You run through the door, and then about 2 steps out the door, I hear, Franco, stop. And, those words just sent chill down my spine. I was like, it's that voice. It's him.
Oh, no.
He comes up behind me. I'm locked up at attention. He pushes his campaign cover up. He gets close to my ear and he goes, Franco, haven't you had enough of this shit yet?
Did he remember you?
I sounded off, no drill instructor, not yet. And you just, that was a special project for the next 6 weeks because I was his honor man when I graduated Paris Island. So he wanted to make sure I was his top graduate out of Officer Candidate School. It was really cool because when I got commissioned, because I'd already graduated college, so I knew, hey, the next 6 weeks of OCS, when I'm done, I'm going to become a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. And the day I was done with OCS, he was the first enlisted Marine I saluted. And there's a tradition there. You salute him and you give him a silver dollar. So it was really cool. We did that in front of the Iwo Jima Memorial in D.C. So it's one of those memories that'll stay with me forever.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And I know we're glossing over a lot of stuff because we want to get to the important stuff, the brown liquor. But then you transitioned as working for the CIA.
That's right. So I did my time in the Marine. I did 2 tours in the Marines, a fleet tour and then a staff tour, and spent some reserve time. Roughly, let's call it all in enlisted and active time. 12 or so years, give or take. I have to go back and look at it. But when I got out, it was right after 9/11, still in the reserves, went to a school, and it's almost like out of a movie. I was in a certain school at a certain base doing something, and this guy comes up. He was a civilian contractor. He comes up to me, and I was a captain at the time, still in the reserves, and he slid me a piece of copy paper from the copy machine with a bunch of numbers written down. And he goes, "Hey, Skipper," that's what they call captains. I was an infantry captain. He goes, "Hey, Skipper, you're pretty good at what you're doing. Why don't you try calling some of these numbers? I think you'd be good at it." I had no clue. I had no idea this world existed. Went back to the hotel room, started dialing numbers. Guy picked up. He was in another country, kind of talked for a few minutes. He said, "I'm going to send you an email, send you a resume." The long story short is I fell into the world of the CIA as a contractor. And so then for the next dozen years or so, I worked for the CIA as a protective operations officer. 3 countries and over 30 plus hostile deployments.
Okay. Yeah, I have a million questions about that. Yeah. I know we don't have time to get in that. We could do a whole show on that, but I'm sure 90% of the stuff that I want to ask you and Ramon wants to ask you, you probably can't talk about. But
at least not publicly.
Right. But that world just, I mean, like you said, maybe I'm over glamorizing it. I was never in it.
Right.
But what we do know, I'm just romanticizing about all these things and questions and missions and things that you did. And I know you've been in hairy stuff and things like that. So, but I don't know. You kind of have that same mentality, Ramon.
Yeah. My time in the agency though has worn on me, and it's not as romantic on me as it might be to you.
Rick, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that the Central Intelligence Agency had a SPA division until Ramon told me that.
They're all inclusive these days.
Nice. Sandals is really not a beach property. It's really a CIA vacation spa community that Ramon used to run.
There you go.
But and then you've done a variety of things. Are you still involved in the hunting world as far as
we do
the decoys and stuff?
We still have our company, Killer Gear,
okay,
which produces the turkey decoy, the turkey fan, the perfect fan, the Jake fan, and elk and antelope. So we still have that.
Okay,
I'm not as active in it,
sure,
because I've got other endeavors going on. But no, we're still listed, still trying to do hunts when we can.
Awesome. So you've done your resume up to the point of 4 branches bourbon is more than most people could ever imagine keeping up with. There's been a variety of other organizations and projects that you've worked on, but what was the aha moment or the day that you go, I'm going to get in the bourbon business? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I get asked that question a lot. Like, how did we 4 guys from 4 different branches of the military come together and decide, hell, let's make bourbon? And it did start with me. So I tell people all the time, a lot of time we hear voices, and most of the time I'm going to tell everybody who's listening to this, you should not listen to those voices. But sometimes you should take heed and listen to them. And as corny as it sounds, we do hear things, and I think there's some sort of higher intervention. But I still have a day job. It was 3 years ago. I'm driving home from the day job. And a little voice said, thought, a voice, call it what you want, should do a barrel of bourbon for the guys in the old unit. So the unit I was a part of with the agency, I spent more time doing that than I was an infantry Marine. Very proud of both of those times of my life. And when I was with the agency and the unit I've been a part of, to date, we've lost 5 guys, 5 stars on the wall. The very first star on the wall was my friend. We were VMI classmates together. We were Marine Infantry Officers together. And then I recruited him into the agency as a contractor. And I vouched for Greg to come on. And when Greg went on his first mission, 2004, he saved everyone's life, but Greg didn't come home. He was a little hero. Literal hero. He saved everyone's life. But, and I had to bring him home. I brought Greg home. And he was then given a star at the wall at Langley, which we've all seen on the movies if you've never been there in person. But that was very significant at that time because no contractor from our division, our unit, had ever been given a star on the wall. So that was Director Tennant at the time was adamant that he would get a star. In fact, Director Tennant's wife came to the funeral back then. So, and then since that time, three of the guys from my unit in Coast at the bombing, and then 2 guys from the unit in Benghazi.
Okay.
So 6 stars total.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it really started as a give back. Really, to your question, I wanted to give back to honor the unsung shadows.
Okay.
Right. Amazing American heroes, American warriors that have stories to tell, that lived amazing lives. And it was going to be really simple in my mind. Hey, I'm going to buy a barrel of bourbon. I'm going to fill some bottles, slap a label on it, and sell it on Facebook. I'll be sold out in a day. Apparently, the U.S. government had a problem with that. And you can't sell bourbon on Facebook. Learned real quick several years ago. So that led me down the path of calling one of my co-founders, Mike Trott, who's our Air Force component, who's also was a CIA officer. And we had served in the same unit at different times. Mike's son and I had actually been stationed on classified bases together, different programs. So Mike and I knew each other, ran the same circles. We also had, at the time, worked for the same company I still currently work for in my day job. He has since retired and now is the managing partner for 4 branches. But I mentioned this idea, and we were like, yeah, let's do this. So immediately we thought, because well, hey, let's call Harold. So Harold Underdown is our Navy component.
Okay.
If you're going to start a business in today's day and age, I'm going to say everybody needs to have a Navy SEAL. Right?
Why is that?
Why not?
Why?
They're everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Right? So
Is that, are you saying he's your token SEAL?
he's our token Navy SEAL.
Okay.
But he and I'll probably get in a fight over it later. But no, Harold is has an amazing career, the utmost respect. He's a 33-year plus retired Command Master Chief from Naval Special Warfare and Development Group. Right. So your readers who are savvy know what Development Group is. We don't mention the numbers between 5 and 7.
Sure.
He's very proud of that. And we had him, he came on board, we said what we're trying to do, and he's like, yeah, this is let's do this, but then I'll give it back to the Air Force guy, tinfoil hats and shiny light bulbs. He's like, wait a minute, I'm Air Force, you're Navy, you're a Marine. If we get one more guy, we'll have an Army guy. And so, Joe, you didn't get to meet, when we were down in Houston, you didn't get to meet RJ. So we were introduced to RJ through a mutual friend. RJ is what we affectionately call our underachiever, because he started out as a Green Beret, and then at age, I want to say 40, but maybe 39. Let's not split hairs. He decided to take the pararescue jumpers, the PJ selection.
Wow.
He's currently the oldest person ever to pass it, and he's now 55.
He doesn't look 55.
No, he doesn't.
And y'all
No,
have
he's
y'all
also
have y'all,
Hollywood, right? You
Yeah.
can see him in the Jack Ryan and the Extraction shows.
yeah. You guys have an affectionate name for him, don't you? Don't you have a name for him?
Yeah, we call him Hollywood.
Hollywood. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So, if this was an A team, he would be face.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself.
Got it.
Yep.
Which one would you be?
I might be Murdoch.
Running the operation.
Yeah, that's right. So the four of us came together. We said we're doing this, and then this is really a big part of the kind of the story and the genesis. We didn't know anything about starting bourbon or how to start a spirits company, but we knew our backgrounds were very unique, all either intelligence operations or special operations like Harold and RJ, and then Mike and our CIA background. So we knew where we could get the right people, how to formulate a plan, and how to execute. But we really took a pause about 3 months into starting this because we had we had a friend who he took his life, right, and that really made us pause. In fact, it just happened the other day. My first XO unfortunately thought that was the final solution just Monday.
Oh no.
And that really made us pause, like, do we want to be a part of this stigma, this problem, this issue? And then we realized alcohol's not going away.
Right.
And we tried that as a country. It didn't work. It's not going away. So let's change the message within what I call the community. And that community is the military, the veteran, the first responder community, because it's proportionally affecting, at least the numbers are showing, proportionally affecting that community. We have data on it. It may affect other communities more. I just don't have the data.
Yeah.
But we know the 22, the statistical 22 a day, and the numbers are higher than that actually. But so we said, let's change the message, right? Our careers haven't been atypical. So let's not attack this problem in an atypical or in a typical way. And that is, let's change the message. And that's really important to us as a brand, because on every bottle we put on the backside, it says serve honorably. So everybody, whether you serve in the military, law enforcement or not, we all serve a community. I think we can agree on that as a people. So if you serve honorably.
Yeah.
On the front, it says drink honorably here. If you choose to drink, then we ask that you drink honorably. I'm not replacing drink responsibly. That's still very important.
Sure.
But drink honorably is, I guess, our way of saying it doesn't matter if you're the last one to come home, if you're the last officer to come out of the house, the last firefighter. It doesn't matter. It wasn't your time. Doesn't matter what you believe in. Ultimately, it wasn't your time.
Right. Don't
dishonor your memory or their memory. Be honorable about it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want that to really hit home with the community. And lastly, we say it, it's kind of, I call it, we all four of us call it the soul of the company. And that is, look, let's quit drinking to forget and let's sip to remember. Right. And that really is what we're trying to promote. And it's not always, hey, let's not always go down the somber path of falling. It could be, what? My son killed a slammer of an 8-point last year. That's a reason to sip to remember.
Yep.
We went fishing last weekend and killed the speckled trout, and they had never caught speckled trout before. And the smiles on their faces as they were trying to pull in these trout, and big gaff tops and caught a shark and all that. That's a reason to have a sip to remember around the fire. So it goes across the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is something near and dear to Ramon's heart. He does a lot of work with Camp Hope here in Houston.
Great organization.
Yep.
I've worked with them when I was in Montana.
Right. And I'm glad we're talking about this, because you can't talk about the issue enough. You can't put enough eyes on it. You can't bring it up enough. We have got to do something, even if it's just some little measure to try to help reverse this trend and help our military. I say that because it's in my heart. I've got a kid in the military, but even if I didn't, it's something that just brings me to tears, and I'm saddened by, the fatality rate that we're seeing in our military that have come home. It's tough. So I applaud you guys. Of course, you and your partners all have the military background, but also taking that and not leaving that behind in the dust when now you're starting this new venture and you're going to go, you know what? front and center. We're gonna address this.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring attention to this issue, and help do something about it. So I mean, I don't know what your history with Camp Hope and stuff is. I know you've done a lot of work with them, but I can't imagine the stories that you've heard.
Yeah, just getting the message out is the biggest thing. Like you said, you can't talk about it enough simply because, in my experience, the veterans just don't want to talk about it. They just feel weak. They've been trained to suck it up their whole life, and when they come back to the civilian world, it's they don't know how to rejoin society, so they just keep it bottled up. And so yeah, the more people we can let know about these organizations, the better help serve those who served us.
It's funny, no matter how well you know this land, you always seem to get lost in it. That's because it's your escape, your place to reconnect to nature and yourself. At Capital Farm Credit, we're proud to help people like you purchase recreational land where you can hunt, fish, four-wheel, or simply get lost in. To learn how we can help you secure land like this, visit CapitalFarmCredit.com. Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better.
Hunting Matters is presented by DEA Ranch. Are you looking for the ultimate South Texas hunting experience? Then look no further than DEA Ranch. DEA Ranch offers some of the best whitetail and exotic game hunts in South Texas year-round. Whether you're looking to fill your freezer or put the next hunting memory on the wall, their professional guides are focused on ensuring each client has a memorable and exciting hunting experience. DEA Ranch offers guided hunts, professional staff, chef-prepared meals, trophy preparation, and more. To learn more, go to DEARanch.com. That's DEARanch.com. Hunting Matters is presented by RC Cartridges. Founded in Italy in 1970, RC Cartridges is a family-owned business dedicated to technology, innovation, and shooting excellence. RC has a historic legacy as a provider of ammunition for Olympic champions, and they are constantly evolving with the goal of producing the highest quality cartridges available. RC is as passionate about shooting and hunting as you are. Whether it's hunting or shooting, steel or small caliber, RC Cartridges has the shotgun shell options to meet your needs. Go to rccartridgesusa.com to learn more. That's rccartridgesusa.com. Mark your calendars for October 3rd, 2024. It's the Houston Safari Club Foundation Sporting Clays Tournament at the Greater Houston Sports Club. This is a fun event to raise money for youth outdoor education, scholarships, and conservation. Male, female, youth, and professional categories. Sign up yourself for a full team of 4. Individual shooters will be squatted with other shooters. Food, games, raffles, and more. All ammo provided by RC USA Cartridges. Open to the general public. Go to We Hunt, We Give to sign up today.
When seconds matter in the game, every single decision made can mean a big win or a frustrating loss. When it comes to buying your next home and selling your existing home in the current market, every decision can mean serious money. Aggie fans, it's Dave South, and as you know, I've studied the best players and the best teams to represent our A&M family. One thing I've learned over the years, the best coaches have the respect of their team and the 12th man, you, the fans. In Bryan College Station, no realtor has more 5-star reviews on Google than Lance Lester and his team at the Lester Group. Why is that? Simple. No one offers more options that benefit you. If you want to buy your next home before you sell your current home, Lance can help you do that. If you want to know the date and price that you can count on your home selling for, Lance can guarantee it in writing. When the game is on the line, you want a leader with a proven track record calling the shots. Get your home sold faster and for the most money. Work with my friend Lance Lester and the Lester Group. Go to thelestergroup.com. That's thelestergroup.com and experience lightning in a bottle selling your home.
Are you interested in breeding exotic wildlife as a method of generating cash flow for your ranching operation? Wildlife Partners is an innovative wildlife conservation company that is the largest breeder, buyer, and seller of exotic wildlife in America. Let them show you how wildlife breeding and ranching can help secure the future of animal species while generating cash flow and substantial first-year tax deductions. Wildlife Partners serves more than 500 private landowners in Texas and numerous conservation-minded investors throughout the U.S. Non-landowners can also own wildlife. To learn more, go to wildlifepartners.com.
So, Rick, you broke the law on social media, and then you found out you couldn't do it that way, so you guys formed a partnership, and you came to the realization that if we're going to do this, let's do this, and let's spread this message and drive awareness towards this issue. And so as starting with any business, but I can't imagine starting a spirits business. You didn't know a lot about this industry. I mean, you've learned by fire.
Nothing about this.
Yeah, you've learned a lot by fire. And you guys haven't had many hiccups along the way that the public can see or that I can see. But tell us a little bit about that journey.
We've been fortunate, right? And I think there's a little bit of some sort of luck factor, some sort of higher power kind of guidance, because the things that have happened for us, we've been so fortunate, just don't happen on a daily basis.
Right.
Right. I'll give you a couple of key examples. One, we knew nothing about it. We were fortunate enough that the company I worked for had been involved with a spirits company. And so we could actually start, like I said, we know how to target assets and sources.
Yep. And
work those relationships and gather the intelligence that we need. So we kind of put our old skills to work. And built those relationships to start learning from other people's mistakes, right? We're all in our 50s plus. This isn't like we're in our 30s and we got time to make mistakes for 10 years.
Sure.
We just don't have that. So we said, let's use our wisdom to our advantage. May not be as fast as we used to be, but let's use what we've learned to give us an edge.
Yeah.
So we've had some very critical things like me picking up a phone and cold calling perhaps the largest bourbon broker in the world on a secondary market. He picked up the phone, had a conversation, told him who we were, what I was about, and what we were doing, invited us to his house, tried to talk us out of the bourbon industry, and has been a big supporter ever since, right? So that helped us lock on the barrels we need, because one thing people need to know is we're not a distillery, so I don't have a brick and mortar shop.
Mm-hmm.
But so what we do is we source our barrels. Being a hunter myself and Harold's a hunter, we hunt for the right barrels. And then we find the right barrels, the right trophy barrels that we want, and then we mix and blend them in Kentucky at Bardstown. We do partner with them.
Okay.
So that's one example. Another example is we launched in May of last year of 23. And in June, less than 45 days after launching, we got a phone call to be on Fox and Friends for National Bourbon Day.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so it's those things that just doesn't happen, right? All of a sudden, hey, we heard about you, and would you guys get on, Fox and Friends Live on National Bourbon Day? Love to. And it's just been one thing after another that has kind of continually told us, yeah, we're on the right path. I will say, starting a spirits company, whether you're a spirits company like us or whatever, it's tough. It's hard. It's not easy, right? It takes a lot of guts, a lot of hard-headedness, or perhaps a little bit of stupidity.
Yep.
One of the three. But we're not one to quit or ring the bell. So we're pushing forward.
Well, I think your background plays a big part of it, even if it's not experienced in the alcohol industry, in that, you make phone calls talking to people about things you need. Does the words enhanced interrogation techniques ever get thrown around?
We've used those a few times on a couple select individuals, but no, not too often. We would like to.
I'm sure you're not told no often, so that helps.
Yeah, it does help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and give kudos and a big shout out to his wife, Jen, who is Johnny on the spot whenever I'm like, hey, I need a logo. Hey, I need some pictures. I need this. And I don't even talk to Rick anymore. I just go straight to her.
Thanks for that, Joe. And you guys know that, Jen is, so, if you've ever flown in a helicopter, you look at a helicopter and you're like, this is not aerodynamic. How does this thing even fly?
Yeah.
There's a mystical force that keeps it moving and keeps all the parts together and moving in the right direction. That is Jen. She's the force that keeps the helicopter flying.
Yep. Well, there are three men here who have all outpunted the coverage. Yeah, I believe.
Cool. You've met my wife.
Oh, yeah.
So, definitely outkicked my coverage.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing you soon.
Yep. That's right. They're coming to our big event at Condor Taxidermy in August.
Oh, nice.
And if you're a member of Houston Safari Club and you're watching or listening to this, you should go to the website and get signed up for it because it's a free event for Houston Safari Club Foundation members. It's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and give a shameless plug here. We're going to do raffles and live auctions and have food and drinks. And Rick and Rick and Jen are actually coming down. I've got to buy her a big anniversary gift because they're coming down on their wedding anniversary, and they're doing tastings at the event. Cool. So, and we'll be featuring one of your trademark cocktails, the Professional. We're doing the Professional,
the Quiet Professional.
The Quiet Professional.
Oh, nice! What a name!
Which is their take on the Old Fashioned.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's really good.
It's exceptional. It really is.
Tell us about the name Steve Nally and how he impacted your business.
Steve Nally is, so for those of you who don't know Steve Nally is a legendary Hall of Fame master distiller. And Steve Nally is currently the master distiller at Bardstown Bourbon Company. Before that, he was at High West. And before that, probably most of your bourbon drinkers may have heard of a little brand called Maker's Mark. And he was there. So we're at Bardstown trying to come up with our mash bill, come up with the founder's blend, what's in the bottle. So you got 4 guys, right? 4 alpha type guys trying to agree on something pretty hard to do. We're in there, we're with their 2 guys, Justin, Dan in the lab. And they say, hey guys, Steve's going to come up and just say hello. He just comes and sees the clients and, then he's going to come out. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And we got the film crew there, and we're trying to, pipettes, and it looks like a chemistry lab, high school chemistry set. And we're in there trying not to break stuff and do stuff. And I don't know, we must have been screwing around or giving each other shit. I was probably telling Harold, he's probably telling me that we're the Department of the Navy, and I'm probably going, yeah, we're the men's department. And Steve must have walked in, and he's like, what is going on here? So we kind of chat with him, tell him the story, and it's so cool to see it on film. He looked at the assistant. He's like, clear my schedule. And he looks at us and he goes, boys, we're going to make some bourbon. He rolls up his sleeves. 2 hours later, some funny trials and tribulations. I'll give Harold a shout out. 2 hours afterwards, we've got this sample, and I'm talking it's like a thimble. Okay. And they had to go get some bourbon from one warehouse and do some things. And Dan, the blender, is sweating, is in the lab, and he hands it up, and to me it's like the holy grail is coming up. And they hand it to Harold, and I'll show you the video later, guys, but he looks at it, and we're all in the lines. Harold, me, Mike, RJ, Dan, and Steve are on the other side of the table. Harold looks at it, sniffs it, and he shoots the whole damn thing. That way he licks his lips, and he looks at all of us, and Steve Nally's eyes are like saucers now.
Oh, no.
Dan is like, what? And we are all like, are you kidding me? And he's like, he looks at it, and he's like, man, that's really, really good, guys. You should try it. And we're like, damn it, Harold. That's going to be a T-shirt we have. It's like, damn it, Harold. That was for all of us. And he just starts laughing. So they had to go back and do it. But we are really proud. It's kind of the funny part of the whole deal. But we're really proud to have Steve put his mark of approval, because when he tasted, we were sitting there, it may have been 10, 20 seconds, and we're just waiting for him to say something. And then he looks and he goes, boys, I think we got something good here. And we're so proud of that, and we'll take that all day long, because it goes back to your first comment, Joe, of what do you 4 knuckleheads know about making bourbon?
Yeah.
Not a thing. We know it tastes good, though.
Sure.
And to that point, we've been, within a year, we've won a double gold and a gold. And then we won the South's Best Veteran Brand and a silver at San Francisco. So I think we're on to something good.
That San Francisco competition is a big deal. I've discovered a few bourbons that are considered obscure. Old Potrero is one that I discovered through that San Francisco, reading about that San Francisco contest. That's a big deal. That's a
largest
huge
spirits contest in the world.
Yeah, it's a big feather in y'all's cap. That's amazing. Talk about because I love this, and I know this is part of the marketing message too, but talk about what a Kentucky Kiss is, because I mentioned that to Ramon one time, and he was like, hey there, watch out. Don't get fresh with me, big boy. But I love that. I love that term.
Yeah. So Yeah, so when you take bourbon and you drink a whiskey or a bourbon or something, you're going to get, usually you get some sort of bite, burn, or heat on the back end.
Yep.
The traditional name is a Kentucky hug. We coined the phrase, or we took the name instead of the Kentucky kiss. So when you try Four Branches, you'll get all the flavors on the front end. I wish you guys had some bourbon here to be trying. We should all be trying this together. Actually, it's late enough in the day. But you'll get the vanilla, you'll get the caramel, a little bit of cinnamon. You get a very smooth texture, and then when you finish it, you'll get this heat that comes down the back of your throat. It lets you know, hey, I'm drinking a whiskey, I'm drinking a bourbon. But what you don't get is you don't get a burn. You just get the heat. And so I tell people, I'd rather have a kiss than a hug. Right? Yep. So that's why we call it the Kentucky kiss.
Nice. I should have brought, I can't believe I forgot, because I got 6 cases sitting in my office.
We should be sharing a pour out.
I know. I can't believe I was rushing out. I didn't grab one, but I'll tell you how much I love it.
We'll wait.
I bought, okay. I'll be back. No, I bought a bunch of cases for the event too, but I bought for our corporate partners and sponsors too, because I love it.
Attention hunters, elevate your hunting game with Derwin Bike, the ultimate electric bike designed for rugged terrain and stealth. Whether you're navigating dense forest or traversing open fields, Derwin's powerful e-bikes give you the silent advantage. Forget the noise and hassle of ATVs. With Derwin, you can get closer to your prey undetected and carry your gear with ease. Ready to revolutionize your hunting experience? Visit derwinbike.com and explore our range of adventure-ready e-bikes today.
Gunworks is a Cody, Wyoming-based manufacturer and provider of premium long-range rifle systems, optics, components, and training. Since 2006, Gunworks has led the charge in innovating and engineering premium quality long-range shooting technology, equipment, and techniques with a singular goal of providing hunters the ability to achieve quick and effective one-shot kills at whatever distances shots are encountered. The Gunworks team is dedicated to service and perfection in purpose-built products ready for 1,000 yards out of the box. Learn more at gunworks.com. That's GUNWERKS.com. The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. Monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation Worldwide Hunting Expo and Convention is coming January 16th through the 19th, 2025 at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott Hotel and Convention Center. Hunting outfitters and fishing guides from around the world, firearms, optics, outdoor gear, taxidermy, and more. Banquets, raffles, auctions, and live entertainment. Find out more at wehuntwegive.org. Presented by Boyd's Hardwood Gunstocks, Capital Farm Credit, Wildlife Partners, RC Cartridges USA, DEA Ranch, The Lester Group, Way Engineering, Gunworks, Forlow, Global Rescue, and Copandero Indoor Archery Pistol and Rifle Range.
And I'm going to tell you something. I want you to go ahead and dispel this myth, because I'm not the bourbon master here. You are, or learning to be. People hear the word blend and they go, "Oh, I'm a purist." No, I'm going to tell you what. Four Branches bourbon is a great bourbon. And I'm not saying that because you're here on the show. I like it, and I'm kind of a bourbon snob. I mean, I know what I like and I don't like. It's the same thing with wine. People are like, "Oh, well, this is a 1972, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, if it tastes good, I like it. I don't care where it came from or what year. And I'm the same way with my bourbon. But people hear the word blend, the quote unquote purist, and they're kind of like, "Oh, it's a blend. It's not really pure bourbon." Yeah. But talk about that a little bit, because I love the flavors.
So that's a great point, and I'll dispel some myths, because in almost 4 years, I've learned a lot. If you think about it, unless you get a single barrel, every bourbon's a blend. Mm-hmm. Jack Daniel's is a blend of all the same mash bill, but it's different barrels. Each barrel's going to have a unique taste, right? So any major producer, all bourbon is to a degree blended. Now, ours is a blend of a 6.5 year and a 4.5 year. Average age is six plus, right? So we take, and ours is different. Most bourbon out there are 3 grains, right? Here's a little education. In order to be bourbon, you can make bourbon. You guys make bourbon in Texas.
Yep.
Bourbon doesn't have to be made in Kentucky. It's
right.
the way it's made that makes it bourbon. So to be bourbon, the quick overview is it's got to be a grain alcohol. It has to be aged in new American white oak barrels. It can't go, and I'd have to look at. I don't believe it can go in the barrel higher than 160, and it can't come out less than 80. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on the 160, but it can't come. And then when I say 160 and 80, those are proof. Mm-hmm. It has to sit for at least 2 years to be bourbon.
Okay,
because you can make it anywhere as long as you follow the way it's made. And most bourbon is made with 3 grains: corn, malted barley, and rye. One fact I need to go back and say, the corn component to be bourbon has to be 51%.
Right.
So all bourbon is at a minimum 51% corn. We chose to add a 4th element to our bourbon. Here
comes Ramon.
Big
secret ingredient.
Okay.
First 2 on the show.
We added wheat. We wanted 1 grain for each branch of the military we served in.
How about that?
That allows us to play with it down the road to come out with some unique blends to represent each branch of the military that we served in.
But it's not the wheat component's not overpowering, because I'm not a huge wheat fan, but I can't really, maybe it's just my palate, but I can't really discern it. Some wheat based products, I'm not a big fan of them.
So what that wheat does for us is it pairs really uniquely with that rye, and it tampers down that rye. So you get that Kentucky kiss, you get the heat, but not the burn.
Yeah.
Right. And so it drinks smoother than for the audience to listen. It is a 96 proof, 4 grain. The mash bill equates to a 65% corn, 15% rye, 10 malted barley, and 10 wheat.
Perfect. You're typically bourbon.
Yeah.
You're
not
bourbon
typically.
Drinker. Well, you're bourbon drinking though.
No, because somebody's hoarding all the bottles.
I was just Ramon. I was just about to say that. Gosh, what a friend.
I know.
Not even sharing.
This is like a Dr. Phil episode where we discover what kind of friendship we truly do have.
Listen, we have many episodes where Ramon goes, well, if Joe would ever invite me to go shoot pigs or whatever, and yeah, I legitimately screwed up on this one. I'm bringing a bottle. Sorry. I will show up with a bottle here next week in the studio, but it is the flavor profile. I really like it. It is unique. Again, I'm not a connoisseur. I'm not a flavor expert, but the first time you let me sample it, we were in turkey camp together, and I was impressed. It's definitely
that was
different.
A prototype.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Yep.
You may have been the first. Honestly, Joe, I think you are the first. When we were in turkey camp together, you and the group that we were with were the first people ever to try 4 branches.
Nice.
That was, I filled 2 little bottles, shoved them in my boots, put it in my bow case, and brought them down.
Yeah, he looked like some wino unpacking there at the hunting camp.
Pulling it out.
He's like looking around. He takes his bottle out of his jacket. There's no label or anything on it. And I think he's got a little
X.
I think Steve Nally must have given him the bottles because he's got little marks where he's marking how as the bottle goes down. So
that's funny.
But no, it was incredible, and everybody. Consensus was yes, thumbs up. Around there, and so we, the final product is much better and more perfected. So you guys are at this phase. You've been doing this for several years now. So now where is 4 branches? I know you guys are looking at expanded distribution. You've made some inroads and that sort of thing. Talk to us a little bit about that. And Ramon's biggest question is, when can he buy it off the shelf in Texas? And I'm going to put you on the spot because I've been asking that for forever.
So before I answer that question, I'll go back and answer the rest.
Sure.
2 years into it now, 1 full year under our belt, and within our 2nd year now, 6 months into the 2nd year, 7 months, our distribution originally started Tennessee, Kentucky, Arizona, and Florida. because all four of us as founders, we can touch those markets. We lived in those markets. I live in Tennessee, so I can touch Kentucky. Mike is in Arizona, and RJ was in Florida. At the time, Harold was still in the Bahamas. So within a year's time frame, we've expanded that market to Maryland, Washington, D.C., and we just got word last week that we are 100% listed in Virginia. Virginia is a control state, so state-run stores, ABC stores. They took us on as a limited time offering, and within 3 months, they flipped the switch and said, "You guys are doing great. You're now 100% in."
That's awesome. Congratulations.
It's huge, and that's a great state for me personally. Just being from having gone to Virginia Military Institute. And the military bases all through there. And then, of course, the Northern Virginia corridor with Langley and everything else that's up there. It's definitely part of our market. So 7 markets in a year, in just over a year. We plan to try and continue to drill down deep in those markets. But to answer your question about Texas, we are itching to come to Texas. We can't wait. It's just honestly a matter of resources.
Sure. I know it's going to happen. I mean, but the progress you guys have made, and I know it's been a lot of work. I'm not undermining that, but the progress you guys have made in a relatively short time to start getting into these states and getting approval, that's impressive.
It goes back to, like, it just doesn't happen for everybody as a new brand. So we've been lucky. 2, we knew how to align ourselves with the right people. We've been fortunate that our top advisors all come from, probably over 100 years of combined experience for our top advisors, who all come from Brown-Forman. So they're telling us which way we need to fly. They're the instrument panel, and we listen to them as we try and fly this plane.
Did you how about with the military, as far as distribution in the military? What are you guys looking at there? Because my kid based out of San Diego is like, when can I go pick it up?
Sooner than we think.
Good.
We were taken into the top 5 naval exchanges just several months ago. We've sold out of 4 of them. I was in Pensacola 2 weeks ago doing a tasting down there. Great store, and I think they had only 2 cases left when I was done. So they're looking to pick us up, and we just AFES, which is the Army Air Force Exchange System. That's a global system worldwide. We just submit our application package to them. They asked us to submit one, so we'll see where it goes. So our hope is that within the next 90 days that we get some turnaround, and then we have the ability to be a global brand and get into the military bases. So I'm hoping that, San Diego can be picked up pretty quick.
Awesome. And you guys have done work with, everybody needs a good brand ambassador, and you guys have one of the best. Tell our audience about him. He's kind of shy, but,
He's a shy guy.
Yeah.
We are really fortunate. He's actually was our first brand. We use the word at 4 branches, champions.
Okay.
We don't have ambassadors. We have champions, because we want people to fight for the brand, and there's no better fighter than Randy Couture.
Yep.
So Randy Couture came on as our first brand champion. Randy was an Army veteran. Is an Army veteran.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Randy was in the Army in the 80s. Was on the Olympic wrestling team, and I think as an alternate. Obviously, Randy's been in a lot of movies, and he does a ton to give back to veterans and first responders. So he came on. He's absolutely been awesome. I've had the pleasure to really get to know him as a human being, and he's one of the nicest guys I'll ever meet. However, he's the last guy I want to cross or piss off in a dark alley.
Yeah. There's a lot of those former UFC champions, and I'm sure current too. I've been kind of a little bit removed, but I had a buddy who was a UFC champion, and most of them, like 90% of them, tend to be like that. That cage closes behind them. They're a different person, but in public, just the nicest people you could ever meet.
Absolutely the nicest guy. We couldn't be luckier to have a brand champion like Randy. It's what's funny is, or you wouldn't think it's not funny, but it just you think about it. We all get labeled kind of stereotypical, like Marines, or this guy or that guy. Randy's got a philosophy degree from the University of Oklahoma.
Sounds like a guy. It sounds like a Quentin Tarantino character.
Yeah.
I can kill people with my bare hands, but let's talk about it first.
Exactly.
Hunting Matters is sponsored by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Under the visionary leadership of founder Johnny Morris, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's is leading North America's largest conservation movement. Together with their partners in conservation, they're positively shaping the future of the outdoors through donations, grant making, and advocacy. The 501c3 Outdoor Fund raises funds to support conservation efforts by activating more than 200 million passionate sportsmen and women, rounding up their purchases in Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores and online. Visit BassPro.com or Cabela's.com today.
Turn a gun you like into one you love. You'll shoot better with the Boyd's Hardwood Gun Stock. Upgrade your firearm to Boyd's and your gun will fit you better and look better. Boyd's uses only top-grade hardwoods because a hardwood stock performs. Boyd's gun stocks are engineered to fit precisely on its specified gun model. Their engineers have continued to perfect manufacturing methods since 1981. That's why you get far more gun stock for your money. Boyd's makes gun stocks for hundreds of gun brands and thousands of models. Shoot better today at boydsgunstocks.com. Attention hunters, elevate your hunting game with Derwin Bike, the ultimate electric bike designed for rugged terrain and stealth. Whether you're navigating dense forest or traversing open fields, Derwin's powerful e-bikes give you the silent advantage. Forget the noise and hassle of ATVs. With Derwin, you can get closer to your prey undetected and carry your gear with ease. Ready to revolutionize your hunting experience? Visit derwinbike.com and explore our range of adventure-ready e-bikes today. Nobody wants to imagine an emergency on a hunting trip, but when the unexpected happens, you want the team of medical and security experts at Global Rescue to be there for you. Global Rescue Operations Centers are staffed by experienced personnel, and you'll always speak to an expert on the first call. With unparalleled capabilities to transport members to their home hospital of choice, you'll get back to your preferred hospital, not the closest. So, trade what-ifs for peace of mind with convenient travel services designed for the unexpected. Learn more at globalrescue.com/hunting matters.
In that vein of discussions around giving back, that's a huge part of your company. Obviously, we talked about it at the beginning of the conversation, but you guys have some other things coming up. You'd mentioned to me before about Staccato Ranch and some other veterans causes. Let's talk a little bit about what Four Branches you and your partners are doing to give back.
Yeah, so that was giving back is a big charter within the company. It was something when we came together that we agreed wholeheartedly. It was more, this company's more than just making bourbon. We make great bourbon. We want to sell great bourbon, but more important is our give back. That's what means the most to us, honestly. So in a year's time frame, since we launched, we've given a lot of these bottles away.
Yeah.
Because people have asked, hey, can we auction it off? Can we raffle it off? And we give a lot away, quite frankly, and that's fine. That's what we're meant to do. And we're honored because of the message. They're asking because of the message. And these bottles in a year, what we've given, raised over $300,000.
Yeah.
That's a big number for a brand new company.
Yeah. Sure.
For that to come out. I mean, we've given personal money away within our company last year, but the bottles have raised that much money, and that honestly is probably the greatest tribute or the greatest honor to see that happen. I mean, we just had a bottle. RJ just told us last week there was a bottle in New York City that went up for auction and auctioned off for $25,000.
Wow.
That's insane.
A couple of years ago, that didn't even exist, and now it's raising $25,000 for one bottle.
For one bottle, for a brand that's been, I mean, it's very good. Trust me.
Yeah.
But the message is what's doing it, right? It's the meaning behind it. It's the message. It's the origin where it came from, because we lived it as four gentlemen. I lived it when I brought Greg home, and that's why I think it's so impactful and it touches so many people. We're doing we'll be down in Houston, in actually Staccato Ranch, just north of Austin, in September. I know I'll be there. RJ should be there. We're sponsoring the Special Forces Charitable Trust, and it's called the Great American Shoot at the Staccato Ranch. So we'll be there doing that. We have quite a few other events coming out where we're giving back. In fact, I'll lead this one here, Joe. I think I don't know if it'll be a question, but we have a new product coming out in October.
Yeah. Have you announced that publicly yet?
We've teased the market.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll announce it publicly here.
How much can you tell? Okay, well, let's. How much can you tell us about it? Since we're your favorite people in the whole wide
You are
world.
my favorite guys. So I'll tell you this: it's a 9-year product, and the juice is absolutely phenomenal. But it's also being finished in a dark Caribbean rum cask. Yeah,
I bet I know which one of the partners brought that up.
Yeah,
The guy living down in the islands.
It's going to be a tribute to another one of our brand champions. He's a legend in I'll call it in the shadow world. I'm kind of teasing the market here. I'm sure somebody will go do some research. He's a best-selling author, and we are pairing it as a tribute to him and his legacy. And there's a big give back component to it. I'm going to leave it at that till we do the official announcement.
Dang it.
But that gives you quite a few pieces of the puzzle to try to put together.
Well, I know who he's talking about, so. And I'm not
You
telling.
do, Joe, but
And
you
I'm
can't
not
tell
telling
anybody.
it. I'm not revealing it. So you folks have to figure that out by yourselves. But good on you. That's going to be cool. I'm excited to look into that. So, folks, if you're just joining us, we've had Rick Franco. Rick is one of the co-founders of Four Branches Bourbon. He's lived a very full life and is continuing to expand his horizons. So, Rick, let's talk about something important. What's lined up for the fall and the next coming year for hunting for you and your boys?
I was waiting for you to ask that one. That's bourbon's important, but taking the boys hunting is near and dear, and that's probably one of the most important things. You know, right now, I hate to say it, all we have lined up is some local deer hunting. I'm hoping to put my oldest on a deer this year. Last year, his younger brother slammed a whopper of a 9-point. I mean, cool old buck, forked brow tines, just a heavy horn, just a great deer. So I'm hoping this year we have some up and comers, get the boys out there doing that. If I'm lucky enough to get in a deer stand, I probably need it more for my mental health than anything.
Sure.
I'm going to get out with the bow and try and spend a few hours here and there to see if I can chase a big whitetail down.
Yeah,
no giant trips this year. Not, at least
Sure.
not yet. We'll see what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I get it. Me too. I'm about a year out from my next big trip, but I'm going to do the same thing. You know, I don't care if at this point in my hunting career, I don't care if I shoot something on me. I like to put some meat in the freezer. But I love to I'll sit there. They make fun of me at deer camp because I'll go out in the morning some days, come back, grab a sandwich, go right back out and just sit all day long. Because I didn't
do it all day.
I didn't go to the ranch to sit and watch unless the LSU Tigers were playing on TV. I might take a 2-hour break for that. But I don't go to the ranch to sit and watch TV and shoot pool and all that stuff. I'll
go out and get nature.
I'll sit for hours by myself. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
No problem with that. Well, folks, Rick Franco, Four Branches Bourbon. Check out their website at fourbranchesbourbon.com. If it's in your area, buy it. You, by the way, can order it online, right, Rick?
You can go to fourbranches.com, purchase now. It will take you to our third-party distributor, and which is Speakeasy. And you can order 1, 2, or 3. If you order 2 or more, you get a break on the shipping.
Yep. And I will tell you from personal experience, Speakeasy communicates. They let you know when it's ordered, when it's shipped, when it's coming, what time you need to go to the bathroom. I mean, I'm an over communicator, so I was impressed.
Yeah.
But
Good. We're glad to hear that. That's great.
They definitely tell you where the pack, because if you're sitting there going, well, I got a party next week, where's my case of Four Branches, you know, you definitely communicate. So folks, go to fourbranches.com. So, you know, support this brand. These guys are new, relatively new. They're doing the right thing for the right reason, and I encourage you to experience the Kentucky Kiss for yourself and check out their website and all the social media. They got some cool stuff on social media, and the website's gorgeous as well. And I'm looking for that. Ramona and I want to have that first bottle of that new release when it comes out.
We got a bottle for you guys.
All right, Rick. Thanks so much for your time.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Take care.
Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production, hosted by HSCF Executive Director Joe Betar and Ramon Robles. Produced by Ramon Robles. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.